Step number 4, greetings and happy Thursday, Friday, whenever you're watching this video. This is Blair, and this is part 4 of the series of the 8-part series of how to get out of the business rat race and get to financial freedom by creating a fully scalable business. So I'm really excited. This piece will be short and sweet today. And if you got any comments or questions, just type them in, give us your comments. I'll do my best to answer them on this call or in a future call. And by the way, this is an excerpt from our Apex program where we actually coach you, your business, or your whole company, high performance entrepreneurs, and personally take them to the top of the mountain. So just as a quick review, this is step number 4. If you remember, step number 1 over here on our chart right here as we climb this mountain was what's your mission? What's the mission? What is it you want to do? What is it bigger than you? Is it something that inspires you and inspires other people? You define those and good reasons why. Step number 2 was to get a current assessment and reality of where you are financially, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of that stuff. What resources are you going to need? What are you lacking? And be honest about it. Don't be delusional. Don't be those people that have these lofty dreams of what they want at the top, but have no clue where they're starting from or where they're going from, okay? That was number 2. Number 3, we covered last time, was creating the plan. And again, this is a PERT, beginning of a PERT chart, which is what we teach. We use PERT as the tool that will get you from point A to point B. Was used to put a man on the moon, was used for and get them back safely. I've used it for the Rich Dad Company, used it for hundreds of organizations, municipalities, governments, all kinds of people that wanted to go from where they are and coordinate a lot of efforts to make something happen. Okay. And then remember, if you recall, this is where we insert the BI triangle, from Rich Dad, which talks about the components that you need in the plan: the legal, the systems, the cash flow management, the stream of events that are going to need to take place for you to get to that scalable business. Okay. So you don't need to think of this on your own. So that's where we've been. Today, we come to probably the most difficult one for most solopreneurs. And I'm going to try to make it as easy as possible. This is the difficult one, not because it is difficult. It's because you think it's difficult. Okay. And that is step number 4 is to assemble and recruit your team. Recruit the team. You notice that the team is right here at the bottom just before we start the steeper ascent. Okay. So what's the team? So why is it the hardest? Well, because I don't have any money to hire a team. Who said you had to hire them? And who said you had to have money to do that? You know, if your mission is compelling enough, you will assemble the right people at the right time. I was coaching with a woman this morning. She's in Switzerland, and I hope she doesn't mind that I'm saying this, but it was very complimentary. She's built a gigantic nonprofit with hundreds of volunteers in over 35 cities and 8 countries around the world. And she's building and she's reforming a new business for herself, for profit. And she goes, I don't know about a team. I go, my God, you've assembled hundreds of women that mentor each other all over the world. Why? You've done the most difficult part. They're already there. Do you think that you could offer them an opportunity to, if someone wanted to come across and mentor with you and make some money and employ them? It's not like you're going to sell to your nonprofit at all, but you might give them some opportunities. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that you don't need money. Her nonprofit is filled with people that are women that are on a mission of women mentoring women. It's amazing, and they've had some amazing wins and breakthroughs all over the world. And you can do the same thing too. Forget about the money for a minute, think about the mission. For them, it's women mentoring women, okay, in business and in life. What is your mission? Is it compelling enough that if for the money was not involved, how many great people would want to be a part of it? You got to look at it that way and pitch it that way when you're recruiting people, okay? Stop thinking about yourself first. Well, when I get smart enough, then I can get a team. Or when I know what I'm doing, I can get a team. Don't think about it that way because you'll never get it done. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The reason teams are difficult for a lot of people is because we're trained to do things on our own. Okay, we're trained to do things on Yeah, we're trained to do things on our own. And, it's unfortunate that that happens. It's unfortunate that that happens because the truth is business is about collaboration. Business is about teams. Okay. So again, that's just old conditioning. Just let it go. Just pretend like, do you think for 1 minute that Elon Musk knows how to build a rocket ship? Really? I mean, come on. I mean, he wouldn't even attempt that project if he wasn't looking for the right people. So look for the right people. Look for your dream team. Share your mission with them. See what they think. If they need money, tell them to say, look, I don't have money right now, but if you're in startup, they give them a little piece of the action for a while, or a percentage of what they sell, or a percentage. There's so many ways to handle it. But I'm going to tell you that the people around, if you've been building a community at all, which if you're a solopreneur, I'm sure you've been doing, then there are people right around you that would love to be on your team. So don't let your old conditioning that I got to do it myself. I'm not smart enough yet. Someday when I'm smart enough and I got it all together, I'll do it, because that someday won't happen. Why? Because you have habituated yourself to doing that. You say someday. You keep saying someday. It'll always be someday. Even when the someday is today, it'll always be someday. Okay, that's your little voice talking to you. Okay, so get rid of all that. Okay, now what do we say? Who are you going to recruit? Now remember, over here we use the BI triangle. It's about mission, team, and leadership, but it's also about the internal components: product development, legal development, system development, right? Communications, and cash flow. So who are the people? You need people on those teams. In other words, you need a legal team. This may not be somebody you employ unless you're bigger, but you're going to get an attorney or somebody that knows what you're doing and familiar with your business. Talk to them, let them be part of your counsel, and tell them what you're doing so they make sure you're protected. Because last thing you want is your idea to be stolen by somebody else and you don't have the capital to take it to market. That would not be good. So you need a legal team to protect you, to protect your business, protect your idea, okay? Protect you from the bad guys. Product development. Are you developing the product? That may be that could be okay if that's what you're doing. The product development, hold on a second. Okay. Product development could be done by you. It could be done by a team of people. It could be done, designate one person who's really good at taking your idea and making it in reality. Now, very easy to put them on a profit share. Once the product comes to market, give them a percentage for being a part of it. When you get some cash, maybe you can cash them out. But again, you don't need money for that, but you want somebody good that understands your mission, okay? Going down the BI triangle, what's next? Systems. What kind of systems? Cash flow management system, marketing systems, all this. Maybe you don't need a person for systems, but when we drop down to communication, there's 3 levels of communication. There's marketing communication, there's sales, which is part of communication, there's internal communication, there's also the communication you have with yourself. Okay, so who are the people that are going to help you? Who's good at marketing? Who's really good at lead generation? Find out who. Maybe it's a contractor, maybe it's somebody in-house. I'm going to tell you that person, the people that are doing sales and marketing, need to be closer to you. Your team can be anywhere from volunteers to contractors, joint venture partners, and then you'll have your core team, the people that are closest to you, people that are actually closest to you. Now, again, the closer they are to you is going to be determined by how often you need to communicate with them, okay? Not by how much money you got, but how often you need to communicate with them. When it comes to sales and marketing, you're communicating to people very frequently. So again, you might contract that, joint venture that. You might bring it in and maybe start paying some people to write your ads and do things like that for you, okay? So marketing systems, their job is to not only do the marketing, but to they have a whole line on that PERT chart that's all about them, the events they're going to do to get you to the prototype that you're going to be putting into the market. Okay. All right. So sales, same thing with sales teams, sales and marketing, not necessarily the same. Who's going to run your sales? Is that going to be you? Again, I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. That's a trap. Don't do that. Do what you do best. Do what you do best. okay? And focus on that. That's hard enough, okay? And be the leader, okay? Be the leader. At some point, your biggest trait, your biggest skill is not your technical skill. It's going to be your leadership skill. I'm going to say that again. Your biggest skill in going to a scalable business is going to be your leadership skill, not your technical skill. So if you're good technically, that's fine. Find a protege, somebody that really wants to learn how to do that, and make them good. Make them as good as you, make them better than you, which, my training business, that's easy for me to do. And I love doing it, is watching my guys become better than me, and better marketers than me, better teachers than me, better than all that stuff. Okay. And I'm happy with that. Very happy with that. Okay. And of course, some internal communication. Now I kind of jumped a little too quickly. The first person on your team, whether you want to be scalable or not, first person, this is a rich dad lesson, is a bookkeeper. A bookkeeper. And a bookkeeper is not you. It's not your wife or your husband. It's not your kids. It's not a relative, even if they're accountants, not them. Why? Because you want somebody that's completely objective about looking at those numbers. I told my bookkeeper yesterday that I loved her. Well, I don't really love her, but I loved her in the moment because she provides me with the numbers I've been looking for the last couple of weeks. I got it. I can make clear decisions. I feel confident in the decisions I'm making. You need to have a bookkeeper. Otherwise, you will not accumulate wealth. You'll spend it. You'll burn it. You'll be delusional about it. You'll do all kinds of crazy things. So if you do nothing else, hire a bookkeeper. Hire them. Okay. Now, you don't need to hire them full time. Maybe you hire them for 1 day a week, 1 day a month, whatever. We had a bookkeeper that came in twice a month. She was a contractor. She came in. She did a great job. She got us started. Now I have full-time bookkeepers. Okay. So again, critical part. The other member of your team, by the way, if you're in the service business, should also be a personal assistant. They can maybe even double as an administrator. Okay. Somebody that takes care of your calendar, does your shopping, does some of the things that occupy your time that you don't need to do. Okay. You don't need to do that stuff. Okay. You need to be focused on building your dream here. Then once you're scalable, you can do whatever you want, anytime you want. Okay. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. Again, if you got questions, type them in here, and I will do whatever I can to support you on this. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Here we go. Okay. I'm back. Hi. Who do we got here? We got Vietnam here. We've got, I think this is Chinese or Japanese. Okay. Annie Callis from Australia. Beatrice from the Philippines. Good to see you guys. So hopefully this is making sense. Again, this is for solopreneurs is the hardest part of all. But I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. You don't have to go crazy and hire all these people at one time. But as you wrote out your PERT chart, it will tell you when you need these people. Okay. If you follow the PERT, it will tell you when you need these people. Okay. Now you're going to recruit them. Got that. Okay. Next thing you're going to do with them, you're going to train them. Okay. You're going to train them. Now, maybe you don't need to train them very much, but you're going to need to at least train them on the mission and how to work on teams, because trust me, very few people know how to do that well. Okay. So you're going to train them. What's the code of honor? What are the rules here? What's the mission? How do we treat each other? How do we communicate? What's our frequency? I'd say you set up your team frequency at least once a week. No matter where they are in the world, they don't have to all live in one place. As we know from COVID, we've learned how to manage all that. Okay. So you make sure you have a high level of frequency, an hour a week. That's it. What's working, what's not working, what are your plans, what do you need support on? Here's what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Talk to you later. Okay. And then of course you'll interact with each other during the week, but we get everybody together once a week. Okay. So you train them on teams, train them on skills. If they need new skills, make sure they get trained. Okay. Sometimes I know that I've hired people and I couldn't give them the money they wanted, but I could get them good training because I'm friends of a lot of great trainers. So look, I have a person on my team who would really love to learn this. Can we get them in there at a discount price? And for sure they did. And so the value add for the team member was amazing because they're getting this world-class training that would cost them tens of thousands of dollars to get. and that's all part of their package. Okay. So make sure they get trained on the pieces that they need. They're the experts. They'll tell you what they need to learn. Okay. All right. Also train them in personal development, because one of the steps up here, as the climb gets steeper, resistance is going to pop up, and they're going to need to have the little voice tools and skills. My suggestion, at the minimum, little voice mastery, or go to blairsinger.com, And by the way, if you want to do this quickly, if you go to blairsinger.com/plan, make an appointment. One of our guides, Guides, will sit down with you, work with you, and see if we can help you create a plan to get up there. And if we can help intimately and work with you very closely with your specific business, then we will do that. But check that out if you really want to if you want to scale this thing quickly. If you want to do it slowly, this will get you there. But if you want to do it fast, go to blairsinger.com/plan. In the meantime, there are programs on blairsinger.com, classes on little voice, pennies on the dollar. Okay. Train your team, teach them. Let me teach them about little voice mastery. Let me teach them about sales. Let me teach them about building teams and code of honor and things like that. Okay. So use the resources. Otherwise you'll spend a fortune. Okay. Use the resources to train, and use your team meetings once a week to spend 10 minutes learning something new about how to control your little voice. Okay. All these things, Blair, it's fun. If you're a leader, you want to grow, think everything you're doing, you're building something sustainable that will generate passive income later. Okay. Now, as you train them, and by the way, training never stops, then they execute. How's that work? One thing we learned on Kilimanjaro, it's one step at a time. Remember, you got a plan, right? You got your PERT chart. Each event, one step at a time. And execute that. Put the green dot on it when you get it done on time. If it's behind time, you put a red dot on it to remind yourselves when the whole team's looking at the plan, where are we on this plan? Okay. You're going to make mistakes. People are going to make mistakes along the way. That's normal, particularly if you're going from the known where you are now to something you've not done before. You're going to make some mistakes. That's good. That's how we learn. But you're only going to learn if you as a leader learn how to be a great teacher and leader, which means at your team meetings, what's working, what's not working, what are the mistakes, what are we learning from this? Asking questions, getting them to tell you what they learned. Don't you try to solve the problem. Let them solve their problems. You'd be amazed at how smart people are if you let them. Okay. So again, and this is something that you continue to execute. Okay. Along the way, remember, we're talking about sustainability, the last piece on teams. When we're talking about sustainability, as you're executing, as you're training, you're always looking for new leaders. Why? You're looking for new leaders to do what you do, and new leaders for them to replace themselves so they can go to the next level, so that they can go to the next level. Otherwise, it's all going to be on you, or it's all going to be on this core team, and they're going to burn themselves out. I've seen it happen. Unfortunately, I've had it happen in my own organizations. Okay. Look for leaders early and often and groom them. That's what it's going to take to be a team. Now, as you scale the mountain, your needs will become, you'll need more specialty. In other words, somebody good in marketing might not be that good at placing Facebook ads. Okay. So maybe you're going to need to bring somebody else in just for Facebook ads, or if you're doing, or if you have a lot of joint ventures, somebody that's going to manage those joint ventures, but that comes later. Start with a dream team, a core team, maybe only 2 or 3 of you, and you'll have multiple hats. And then it'll be 3 or 4 of you, or 5 or 6, or 60 or 70. It depends on your appetite to move ahead and to take risks. Remember, making a big mistake is very much the same as making a small one. The only difference is you might feel a little more stupid making a big mistake, but the other good thing about a big mistake is you get big lessons, and it catapults you further ahead. Okay. So this is the piece on teams. So if you've got questions, let me just check here. I've got a couple questions here. Philippines, Rich. structure and systems has been my biggest challenge. Okay, good. So then, sometimes thank you, Annie. So sometimes accountants, I know that Tom Wheelwright, who's my CPA and accountant, is great with systems. I mean, he's a great tax guy, but he's probably been better with systems. Ken McElroy, great with systems, logistical systems. So find mentors. Mentors are part of your team too. They may not be in your employ. You might only see them once a month, but these are people you go to say, look, this is the business I'm in. You've been doing this. What kind of systems do you use? Or what kind do you recommend? Okay. Because if you're looking for systems, I'm going to say you already have a system, Annie. Whatever you're doing right now, good, bad, or otherwise, that's if you document what you do and you give it to somebody else, that's a system. Right now, it's just a process because you're doing it. Okay. And whatever structure you have is what it is. So, So again, document it, dream it out. Well, how do you want it to be? That's why we do PERT charts. What do you want it to look like? Take a big piece of flip chart paper. What do you want this structure to look like over the next year, 2 years? Remember, when you start in the beginning and you do your mission, one of the things that you remember Joe, he spoke to us before about scaling your business, is he said, you got to get an idea of what you want this thing to look like 25 years from now, and then 10 years from now, and 5 years from now, and 2 years from now. Because if you get that in mind, it's going to change the way you do things and change the way you make your decisions and change the way you look at team members. Okay, I'm looking for my team members, the people that are with me have been with me for many years. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it like one and done. Okay, I look at it for longevity and to be sure that they can grow in their business. Now, the truth of it is, some of your team members you may outgrow them. It may be too much for them. They want maybe a simpler life and they don't want to go to the next level. That's okay. Find a place for them to do what they do best. And then you'll have to bring somebody else in to take the next level of what they were doing. All good, as long as you're a good leader and you know how to maintain your code of honor, maintain a context cup that nurtures people and helps them grow. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. This is valuable. Let us know. This is posted on YouTube. Apparently I'm just got a message. This is not on LinkedIn, but it's hopefully on Facebook and Twitter and some other places. Remember, if we can help you, if you want to do this quickly, if you want to scale this mountain quickly, go to blairsinger.com/plan, make an appointment. We'll see if you qualify. Do a little questionnaire there, application. And if so, we'll help you out. And if not, at least go to blairsinger.com and learn the material that's already in there for pennies on the dollar. It'll be the best investment you make. People ask me, what do I do with the money I got? What's the best return on my investment? Well, it's education. And congratulations, because you figured that out. That's why you're here. But education is not just learning. It's learning, then doing, or learning, then applying, okay? And then correcting, and then repeating the process. You learn, you apply it, which means you do it, and then you correct. And you repeat and repeat and repeat. That's learning. Learning is not just sitting listening to me. Learning is now the next step that you're going to take is go make a list of the people that are around you or what your dream team would look like that would be ideal people for your team, and go and start pitching your mission to them and see what they think. Okay? That would be the next step. Okay? Look, you have dreams, you deserve to have them, and you deserve to not beat yourself to death and run around in a circle and burn out before you get them. Be amazing. See you next time.